So in today's portion, we will discuss about other types of economies. Okay. Other types of economies. We have discussed the economy. Just a minute. About the types of economies like developed and developing economy, as well as we have again discussed from the viewpoint of nature three types: capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. Now, other than this, a few other types of economies also we need to study. The first one says simple and complex economies. These are the simple topics. Simple economies and complex economies. It is division or divided on the basis of a division of labor from the viewpoint of, or from the on the basis of degree of specialization, on the basis of degree of specialization and the division of labor, the simple and complex economies can be defined. Now, what is meant by a simple economy? A simple economy is that economy in which each individual is specialized in the production of one commodity only. Each individual specialized in the production of one commodity. What does it mean? In a simple economy, keep in mind that in such an economy, one person weaves cloth, the other grows wheat, and the other one makes utensils, and the next one makes other requirements, necessaries, and other implements, which means each producer produces a particular item, not everything. Nowadays, we can say, or in a mixed economy, we can say a producer can produce many of the commodities. Whereas in a simple economy, the production is based on, or production is done by a single producer. He or she specialized in that particular product. A specialization is being done there. A division of labor is being done. What is meant by division of labor? Labor is being divided among the people. In a simple example, we can say, in our school, while we conducting the assemblies, right? There we conducting the assembly. Okay, there are certain portions are given to a particular students, like national news, regional news, prayer, and all those things. And in that cases, what we can say, a particular duty is provided to that particular student, like a national news read by Joy Clarence, okay, and regional news read by Anshika Rana, which means he has to look upon only the national news. She has to see only the regional news. Whereas Kritika Patel or Nandini Shukla, they are given prayers, or the beginning prayer and ending prayer. So this way, the labor is being divided or properly divided to the people. That is what is known as division of labor. Are you getting me? So in that cases, when production starts, this production of one particular commodity, if I produce a shirt, means I have to produce the cotton for that. I should find out or I should concentrate the production of only that one commodity. Whereas the people who produce wheat or rice or other necessities like utensils or other things, they have to produce a single item. Such economy is known as a simple economy. Very clear? Then it is means such economy is a traditional economy. you can say as traditional economy or early economies, where the simple economies. Okay, those traditional economies or early economies, they were treated as simple economies. In those economies, goods and services are mostly produced for consumption purpose only, because they are not interested to produce much more commodity for business purposes, only consumption purposes. Now next, the opposite side, whereas the complex economy is the economy in which there is high degree of specialization, complex division of labor, and mutual dependence. These factors, these features are worked together, or a collaboration of these three, then such economies are known as complex economy. A laborer does not produce a complete good there. Earlier we have seen that in a simple economy, if I am a farmer, I should produce, I myself only to produce wheat or necessities. But in a complex economy, the producer cannot produce one commodity in a single way. I cannot produce one car. I cannot produce AC. I cannot produce that particular item simply because I need to involve other labors also. This is complex economy. So nowadays we see what type of economies. The present type of economy is an example of complex economy, because everywhere production is based on many people or based on those factors of production and many people involved in the production. Okay, there we could see high degree of specialization, the features of complex economy, high degree of specialization, specialized people, expert people, expertise are there. Okay, and they have a division of labor is complex in nature. It's not a simple way of a partition. Okay, complex division of labor. This is known as complex economy. So only definition you have to study, right? Okay, then we move to the next, closed and open economy. What is mean by closed economy and what is mean by open economy? There was a time that economy was closed. What is an economy? It's a system in which every economic activities take places, production take places, exchange take places, consumption take places, all entities, all economic works, all economic activities take places. So a closed economy is defined as an economy which does not have any economic transactions with other countries of the world. A particular country, if they do not have any interactions with any economic transactions with foreign countries, with other countries, such countries are known as closed economy. In closed economy, we do not feel any, or we do not take any export and import. There is no export. We don't have any relation with other countries of the world. But nowadays, it was there in the initial stage. Okay, initial stage, the economy was like that, closed economy, no relation with any of the countries. But that was proved that a hindrance for the development of the country. Therefore, the countries of the world decided to make a good relations with the foreign countries for the rapid development of that country. That is why we have our Indian economy, or India has a good relation with America, okay, even China, Pakistan, okay, even Pakistan too we have relations. We are treated then Pakistanis are okay, our rivalry groups, but even then we have a good relation. Many treaties are signed there. Okay, then with America, Russia, almost all the countries, India has a good relation. So that is not, this is the best examples of open economy. Our economy is open towards everyone. Closed economy is that economy in which we do not see such economic transactions. There is no relation with the other countries. There is no export from India to other countries. There is no import from America to India. There is no such economic transaction, no such relations. Okay, whatever produced items in India that we consume, that is what closed economy. the entire domestic product, whatever is produced from India, the entire domestic product that is consumed. Certain cases we cannot consume, then there can be surplus in nature. Then what will happen? Nothing will happen because the economy is closed. You cannot sell it, you cannot export it. But whereas in an open economy, that facility is there. Which facility? There, okay, the economy which has the economic transactions with other countries of the world. There is transactions. If that economy can engage with the international trade, export and import, if there is any problem, if there is an overproduction or if there is an underproduction in our country, we can easily depend upon foreign countries. We can ask them to give our necessities. Even in the case of the COVID-19 vaccination, we are getting the foreign vaccines. Like so many, Russia's vaccine, it is there in India now, it's going to distribute it. Okay, so foreign countries' vaccines or even our Covishield and Covaxins are provided towards the other countries. So we have a good relation, export and import relation, okay, in an open economy. So open economy, if there is a surplus production, additional production, what is not required in our domestic use, then you can easily export to the foreign country and you will be getting a foreign income from there. You will be getting foreign money, not Indian currency. Dollar you are getting, euro you are getting, other countries' currency you are getting. And with that currency, we can develop, India can develop fastly by applying more and more of technologies in the production. So this is what is open economy. Have you got the difference? One is closed economy, another one is open economy. Clear? Okay, then we move to that next, that is agricultural and industrial economies. Another type. Agricultural, it's very simple. The country which has, or that economy which is primarily engaged in agricultural activities. Primarily engaged in agricultural activities are called agricultural economy. Agricultural operations are carried, okay, largely by family members, okay, and majority of the population lives in rural areas. Most of the people are they are doing their work in agriculture sector. So agricultural economies are commonly, they are not developed countries, they may be underdeveloping economies, keep in mind. Now developed or industrial economies, what is mean by that? Industrial economy is primarily engaged, or an economy which is primarily engaged in industrial activities. Industrial, see, almost all the developed countries of the world are industrialized country. India is India industrialized country? Is India industrial country? No. Then what type of country that we have? We are agrarian in nature, agricultural country, agrarian. Okay, we are not an industrial country. Industrial economies. In India, we can see we are welcoming the foreigners or others to visit India. The entrepreneurs, we ask them to visit India and start their giant companies in India, multinational companies, many more MNCs, multinational companies you can see in India or foreign. And they may with that we can increase the number of employment opportunities. Okay, this is what is happening in an open economy or an industrial economies. So majority of the countries which are industrial in nature, they are definitely developed countries. Okay, America is an industrialist country, industrial economy. They are developed one. Japan, Australia. Okay, such countries are. There's much more industries are there, many more, but in India also there are industry, but major part of population, major part of contribution towards the national income, not from industrial sector, but from agriculture sectors, because Indian economy has a feature of agrarian in nature, agricultural country. Okay, keep in mind. So these are the some other types of economies other than those developed or developing or capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. Is that clear? Now we move to the next part, some regional and economical, global economic grouping. The first one we discussed about the SAARC. What is meant by SAARC? South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. It's a full form of abbreviation of SAARC. You might have studied, you might have read about SAARC. See, like some regional and global, this type of economic grouping like SAARC, Asian, European Union, the group of 8 such European groupings. All of these groupings are aimed to, its objectives are one way or another way, may be similar. So it is just you know how to write a brief note based on SAARC. First of all, the abbreviation you can write, and in which year the SAARC was established. It is established in the year of 1985. 1985. Okay, and how many countries are there? Initial stage there are 7 member countries. In 1985, with 7 member countries. The 7 countries are, what are the 7 countries of SAARC in the initial days? India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Maldives. These are the 7 countries. Okay, its membership is increased to 8, the 8th number in the year of 2007. Now, what are the aim or what are the main economic objectives of the SAARC, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation? What is the main aim or what are the aims? First important one, to promote welfare of the people. To promote welfare of the people. The important aim of this particular grouping is to promote welfare of the people in South Asia, and therefore their quality of life can be improved. How can we see that one's life is improved? If you have if you have more money with you, your lifestyle may change, your life quality will change, because instead of using the least priced items, you may use the best quality products, high products, and you may use more luxurious items, comforts items than the necessities. So these are a few examples, a few symptoms that you can show, you can understand that people or somebody lives in a better way. Got it? So this way, for promoting this economic, the quality of life and economic welfare, SAARC has an important aim. The second says it accelerates economic growth. It also accelerates the economic growth by improving the economic development, because only with the economic development we can reach an economic growth. And last class I told you, economic development is a process where you reduces or where we reduces the illiteracy, unemployment, poverty. Keep in mind, by increasing those 3, means employment opportunities must be more, literate people will be more. You can see that the state-wise variations where literacy is too high, such states are rapidly developing. Where literacy is too less, such states are in a slow-moving development. As a whole, India is also running for its development. Okay, literacy rate is reached to 70. Average literacy rate. Okay, like that, removing poverty. Many people in the slum areas, in the remote areas, where even electricity not touched, even such areas you may see people's life they live, or they are leading a pathetic life. Okay, they were struggling for the existence of their life in every corner, such corner. Okay, so to accelerate such economic growth as well as to promote their economic and strengthen the self-reliance. The self-reliance, India is not at self-sustained in nature. We still we are a depending country. We still depend other countries to get the important things. But certain countries, they are self-sustained in nature. They produce whatever they need. But we still, whatever we produce is not enough to feed the entire population of India, because we are the second largest populated country in the world. And so we do not have sufficient resources. We don't have sufficient proper places to produce such necessaries. Okay, that is the reason we depend on foreign countries. So keep in mind that. Then we move to the another, that is Asian. What is full form of Asian? Another association. Association of Southeast Asian Nation. Southeast Asian Nation. Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So it was established in the year of 1967. 1967, year of establishment by 5 member countries like Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines. Okay, there are 5 along with Singapore, right? There are 5 member countries in the year of 1967. Okay, and now the number of the member of this Asian is increased nowadays. Okay, so many new countries are joined, and here also you should keep in mind that these countries, they may make certain agreements among them for the promotion of economic development or for the promotion of or for the acceleration of economic growth. Okay, the aims are same, objectives are same, and that group of countries, that member countries, they work together. They have a mutual understanding. They must have a mutual cooperation for the economic development. Okay. Then what is next? We can move to next is EU. What is EU? European Union. European Union. What is European Union? European Union has okay, you can say the countries. It is extra. In the year of 1957, there are countries. Okay, like Italy, France, Belgium, West Germany, Holland, and Luxembourg. These 6 countries as a group of European countries, and they have put certain treaties. They brought certain developmental process for the economic development of those member countries only, and they have added many members in the European countries. And for the development of economic development, they have created a specialized coin there, a currency there, a common currency is being discovered or used to for the economic development. What is that currency name, you know? What is the currency? Yes, anyone?
Euro.
Euro, yes. Euro is a common currency. European country has created a common currency for the economic transactions, that is euro. So euro is being used only in such countries, European Union's countries, and as a whole in the world we use or we calculate the value of currencies with which currency do you know? It is not euro, or it is not Indian currency. Then what currency we take as a common? Dollar, American currency, dollar, because it is accepted by every countries, because it is as a common measure to find the value. But European currency like euro is not as common, but euro is common only its member countries, among its member countries, and they may use that euro. Their objective is to increase the economic cooperations, increase the economic activities among them, increase and another important aim is to make a single or a common market. A common market. They have to achieve the common market among those countries. Okay, keep in mind that. Clear? Then we move to the G8, the group of 8, G8 and G7 countries we know. What is G8? In the year G8 conferences since 1997 onwards. 1997 onwards, G8 conferences are being done or called for the purpose of what we can say, to set an economic, political and regular annual summit conferences. Okay, to keep, what is the aim is to keep that the economic progress. They have focused on many things like economic, ecological and social security. Okay, same way, as I told you that almost all the objectives are one way or another way having similarity. So keep in mind, it is easy to explain also, but you have to make sure the year of establishment and its member countries without mistakes. Okay, that is only one point you keep in mind. Other than that, you can explain as a common. Okay, for their entire aim, objectives are similar to one another. So at least once 3-4 points you have to by heart based on that. Earlier there were 8 countries. Okay, the group of 7, G7, then G8. One more is added. First beginning stage we studied G7 countries. Okay, like US, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Canada and Japan, all the developed countries, industrialized countries together. G7, and one more country is added. Okay, joining of Russia in 1997. Okay, then G8 countries. Then thereafter, to widening the membership of this group, they started G20. G20, from G7 to G8 and G20. The number of countries are added more. It is a forum similar to the G8 group of advanced and developed countries. Keep in mind that G7 and G8 countries are developed countries, whereas G20 is group of developing countries. Are you clear the difference? Developed countries together, G7, G8, but whereas in the group of 20 is developing countries. Okay, so the motive is to emerge markets, common markets. Okay, like Brazil, South Korea, South Africa. Okay, all such cases we keep in mind that they have to improve their cooperations, mutual understands, economic development, economic growth. Clear? So these are some of the global groupings like SAARC, Asian, European Union, G8 and G20. Now, any clarification? Anything? Are you all reading the textbooks? Any doubts? Okay, then we will stop the class now. We have one more period, right? Okay, that class we will start. Okay, then. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.